But fear is not in Haiti's DNA. God didn't put us here to be small. He put us here to shine. Blood of warriors runs through our veins. The sons and daughters of those who broke chains. We come from fire. We were born to rise. You see a small country, but you don't see our size. We are the people who beat the strongest army. We stood up and said we were born to be free. We are Haiti, we don't fear giants. We are the drums, the fire, the lions. With every pass, every strike, every goal, we carry the pride of a fighting soul. Raise the flag high, raise it to the sky. Haiti moves forward and God walks by our side.
Now we are David, standing proud. A small nation with a voice so loud. Discipline, courage, faith.
Let's take a look at our neighboring country here. Benin Republic or Benin Republic, depend on how you call them. Their capital city is called Porto Novo. The largest city where everybody know about is called Cotonou. And they are situated in western part of Africa. And they are bordered by Nigeria, Togo, Burkina Faso, and another country see they won't border them. And the people wey come from that country, they call them Beninese or Beninese, depend on how you they call them. For passport strength, they be number 75 in the world, and they get visa free to 70 countries of the world. As for military strength, they be number 141 in the world. Their military no get power. They get population of about 13 million plus. And their official language na French. Those say that they get plenty other language where they speak for that country. And the country is governed by the president, and the name of the president is called Patrice Talon. Nigeria get visa free to this country. They fit stay this country without visa for 90 days. In fact, my Nigerian brothers and sisters, na keke nape or keke mariwa, now they carry they enter this one. That 90 days visa free no concern Nigeria. Now their business be that one, because na keke mariwa they carry enter there. Now their neighbor, now their backyard for here. And they use currency where they call Sifa. As at today, one Sifa na 2 naira 68 kobo. It's still big past Nigerian money. As for their religion, they be 52.2% Christian, 24.6% Islam, 17.9% Ojuju worshipper, traditional worshipper, Voodoo worshipper, and the rest they neutral. They not get the one with them day. As for ethnic groups, they get more than 42 plus ethnic groups, and they include the one where they call Fon, Aja and Mina, Yoruba, Bariba, Fula, Otamari, Yalopa, Dindi, and some other plenty ones. Wetin they know Benin Republic for? They know Benin Republic for land of voodoo, land of voodoo, land of juju. If the whole world knows say that they do juju for that place, if Nigeria still say that they do juju, may they go try Benin Republic first. They still know they put for great artists and craftsmen. That they do craft where. They know that for the youngest population in the world. They still know they put for the home to Venice of Africa. If I they know they for plenty things, that especially that voodoo, land of voodoo, they know they put where. And the richest person for that country na Thomas Boniyaji, and he get net worth of around $400 million. As for minimum wage, they get minimum wage of 52,000 CFA per month. That is about 139,000 plus in Nigerian naira per month. And they get economic of about $20 billion. As for hospitality, they are friendly and peaceful people. For job opportunity, that they survive with agriculture for there, that they survive with driving, and so many things they want to take they survive small for that country. And this is how Beninese look for people who never see them before. This is how they look. As I will always say, there is no country without bad side. You see, for Benin, they still get their own for body. The care problem of air pollution and waste management issue for there, they still get am for there. As you see there for Nigeria, they still get am for there. Pickpocketing still dey there. Pocket pickers, the way that they pickpocket for Lagos, e still dey for Benin Republic. So they fit still pick your pocket for there. Robbery still dey there. Armed robbers, they still dey for Benin Republic. So they fit still rob you for there. Car hijacking still dey there. They fit still collect motor for you and for Benin Republic. So no be only Nigeria that they do am. So if you compare Benin Republic to Nigeria, Nigeria too big pass Benin. Na very small country from West Africa. So Nigeria is bigger than Benin Republic. I know so many Nigerians dey Benin Republic. If you dey see this video, please comment on the comment section how life be for Nigeria, for Benin Republic, so that other people go still learn from there. Thank you.
Ewe language, one of the languages spoken. So here are some words in Ewe language, one of the languages spoken in Ghana, that sound slightly similar to some words in Yoruba language, which is one of the languages spoken in Nigeria. As usual, I'm going to be saying the Ewe word first before the Yoruba word. Okay, so the first one is va. Va in Ewe means come. In Yoruba, it is wa. Wa means come. Yeah, va, wa. The second one is awu. Awu in Ewe means dress. Whilst in Yoruba, it's ewu, which means dress or clothes. Ewu. So in Ewe is awu. In Yoruba, it's ewu. You see? Anyway, the next one is pakpahe. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing it well, but thank God it's going to be written on the screen, so you get what I'm trying to say. It's pakpahe, pakpahe, which means duck. And in Yoruba, it's pepeye, which also means duck. So Ewe pakpahe, duck, and then Yoruba pepeye, duck. So you see, pakpahe, pepeye. You see? The next one is agbo. In Ewe, they say agbo, which is ram. And then in Yoruba, there's agbo, which also means ram. Please, I might not be pronouncing it well in Ewe. Please forgive me, but it's written on the screen, so you know what I'm talking about. So yeah. The next one is enu. In Ewe, they say enu or nu, which means mouth. And in Yoruba, there's enu, which also means mouth. So Ewe, enu or nu, which means mouth, and then Yoruba, there's enu, which also means mouth. The similarities, it's so interesting. I love it. The next one is afa. It means a particular deity in Ewe. And in Yoruba, there's also a deity called Ifa. So afa and Ifa, they both mean deities. So there are deities in these two different languages. The next one, which I'm not too sure about, is shokoto. So they say the Ewe says shokoto, which means trousers. And the Yorubas also say shokoto, which also means trousers. This one, like I said, I'm not too sure about, so please correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section. Thank you. Then the last but not the least is wo. Wo is you. It means you in Ewe. And then in Yoruba, there's iwo. Iwo means you. So wo in Ewe, which means you, and then iwo in Yoruba means you. Guys, Africa is so connected and it's beautiful. It is such
honor and respect, honor and respect, honor and respect. Divine, all blessed greetings and salutations. It is another edition of Revolutionary Hoodoo, New Orleans Voodoo Secrets and Recipes. Powered, produced, promoted, sponsored, supported, and brought to you by NOIVD, New Orleans International Voodoo Day. Inspired by National Voodoo Day in Benin and led by the local Black community spiritual members, New Orleans International Voodoo Day is a day of collective remembrance and spiritual reparation that is preceded by a symposium, an Afro-ecology exhibit, and includes a procession to monuments at the sites of enslavement in New Orleans, ritual to account for and seek absolution for the cities and the country's participation in the institution of slavery. Homage to those ancestors who suffered through and survived the transatlantic slave trade, and honor and appreciation for the achievements of those who came out of the oppression. 2 days of education, creative expression, elevation, cultural exchange, and above all, healing. Saturday and Sunday, May 23rd and 24th, 2026. We will probably have our press conference on that Friday, but the symposium will be the 23rd, Saturday, 23rd of May, and the actual event will be the 24th, Sunday, May 24th, 2026. And through authentic voodoo traditions handed down through generations, we offer a path to healing from the ongoing ramifications of slavery and racism in the United States. And we continue to encourage and invite your support, participation, volunteership, donation, sponsorship by visiting us at www.voodooday.org. Again, www.voodooday.org, VODOUDAY.org. We certainly appreciate all the communications that we receive from all around the world, from Africa, Central, South America, the West Indies, and certainly here throughout the U.S. We certainly appreciate and continue to invite your volunteership, your support, your donations, your sponsorship, and certainly your participation in this powerful event. And we're thankful for your continued support of this Monday through Friday, weeknight, 9 p.m. U.S. Central Standard Time podcast. Thank you so much, our faithful community member, Daniel Neal, for continuing to show up in the chat box. We certainly appreciate you. And we're grateful for all of those who we can see out in social media by way of our Facebook pages, our Facebook groups, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, of course, Twitter, formerly known as X, and the many more locations where you can access our URL and our link. And I will be unmuting our faithful, committed, beloved panelists and co-hosts momentarily. Elder Reggie Greensoap, leader and founder of Shrine of the White Cloth, and committed co-administrator of NOIVD. Queen Mother, Sister Toni Val Martinez, community activist, community mother and leader, committed promoter of NOIVD. My godson, Tyson Allen Horn, also committed member of NOIVD and initiated member of La Source, and the executive producer of Respect the Voodoo. And my beloved sister, Queen Mother Bianca Johnson Plessy, committed team member NOIVD, and I believe initiated member of The Source as well. And we will be unmuting them momentarily as we dive tonight into Voodoo and liberation. Voodoo, Vodou, Voodoo, to freedom and liberation in modern America. And we certainly please invite your participation, your voice, your experience always to the show topics. My beloved brothers and sisters, children of the ancestors, I call upon the winds of Africa, the waters of Haiti, and the soil of Louisiana, the soil and swamps of Louisiana. We invoke you to assist us now in calling upon the spirits who walked before us, who carried chains yet sang freedom songs, who bent but did not break, who whispered prayers in the languages forbidden yet eternal. And tonight we speak of Voodoo, Vodou, and Voodoo, not as curiosities, not as caricatures, not as shadows distorted by fear. We speak of them as living rivers of liberation, flowing through the veins of modern America. Voodoo, the ancient faith of Dahomey, of Benin, of West Africa. It is the language of the spirits, the dance of the drum, the covenant between human and divine. And when the ships came, when the iron shackles bit into wrists, Voodoo was carried across the Atlantic, not in books, not in monuments, but in the memory, in the math, in the ritual, in the heartbeat of our ancestors. Voodoo was resistance. It was the whisper to the barracoons, the chant in the belly of the ship. It was the reminder, you are not property, you are divine. In America, where freedom was denied, Voodoo became the secret weapon. It taught that liberation is not only political, it is spiritual, that no master can own your soul, that the spirits walk with you, even in exile. And in Haiti, Voodoo became the fire. It was at Bois Cayman in 1791 that the enslaved gathered under the cover of night. They called upon the Loa, the spirits, to bless their uprising. And from that ritual came the Haitian Revolution, the only successful slave revolt in history, birthing the first Black Republic. Vodou was not superstition. It was strategy. It was unity. It was a declaration that freedom is sacred, that liberation is holy. And in modern America, Vodou still teaches us that liberation requires community, that freedom is not given, it is taken, it is made, it is lived, that the spirits of revolution still walk among us, urging us to rise against injustice, to honor the ancestors by refusing chains of any kind. And in Louisiana, in the streets of New Orleans, Vodou became voodoo, a word twisted by outsiders, demonized by Hollywood, mocked in cartoons. But beneath this distortion lies truth. Voodoo is survival. In hoodoo, it is conjure. It is the medicine of the oppressed. Marie Laveau, that great voodoo queen, walked these streets, the very streets that I walk upon. She healed the sick, counseled the broken, and wielded power in a society that denied her rights. Her voodoo was liberation in practice, freedom through healing, through community, through the refusal to bow to oppression. In modern America, voodoo reminds us that freedom is not abstract. It is lived in the body. It is the right to heal ourselves, to define ourselves, to honor our ancestors without apology. It is the refusal to let our traditions be erased, commodified, or ridiculed. So today, America speaks of freedom often, yet practices it unevenly. We see prisons filled disproportionately with Black bodies. We see poverty, discrimination, and violence. And yet, Vodou, and voodoo whisper, you are free even when the world denies it. They remind us that liberation is not only political, it is cultural, spiritual, it is ancestral. That freedom means reclaiming our stories, our rituals, our dignity. That liberation means standing against the forces that would silence us and distort us or erase us. In the drumbeat of Voodoo, in the ceremony of voodoo, in the healing of voodoo, we find a roadmap to freedom that is not dependent on laws alone, but on spirit, on community, on memory. So in my closing, let us declare, Voodoo is the root. Vodou is the revolution. Voodoo is the survival. And together they are the trinity of liberation in modern America. They remind us that freedom is not a gift, it is a birthright. They remind us that liberation is not a dream, it is a practice. They remind us that the ancestors are watching, urging us to walk boldly, to live fully, to honor the spirits by refusing chains of any kind. And so I say, as I invite my beloved co-hosts to unmute their mic, may the spirits of Voodoo guide us. May the Loa of Voodoo strengthen us. May the healing of Voodoo protect us. And may modern America learn that true freedom is found not in domination, but in the sacred dance of liberation. All is truly and indeed a blessing. No matter what you do, respect the voodoo, respect the voodoo, respect the voodoo. And please do, my beloved co-host, Elder Reggie, please do unmute and come on in. Beloved Queen Mother, Sister Toni Martinez, do unmute and come on in. Brother Tyson Allen Horn initiate, come on in. And our beloved Bianca Johnston Pleasant, do come on in. Toni and Sister Bianca, please come on in.
Ashe.
How you doing? Tyson?
Hey, how you doing? Can you hear me? Can you hear me
I
okay?
can hear you. Come on in. All is a blessing.
Okay, good. It is a blessing to be here, and it's good to see everybody, and hello to everybody, or good night to everybody, and I'm just happy to be here. I'm can't wait to hear the nuggets of knowledge coming out of this here episode.
Good evening, everyone. This is Elder Reggie. If I could, I'd just like a moment of silence for Rob Reiner. I grew up enjoying his imprint on the movie industry, and I'm not picking his tragedy over any other tragedy, but the way it happened, it just warrants a moment of silence, please.
Mhm.
I say, Voodoo, Voodoo, and Voodoo from Haiti. To me, the three pillars of this institution is speechless. I've had the pleasure of seeing all three in action, and they do stand on their own word. They do represent what they say they are, and that's what I would like to add at the moment.
Mhm.
Greetings,
Good
Sister
evening,
Bianca.
everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about some few things when we talk about like hoodoo and voodoo. I look at voodoo and hoodoo, of course, it's like you're saying, like using that as power for healing. A lot of people do kind of get it mixed up, especially in our Black culture, because our mind had been suppressed so much with it being evil and demonized and all that stuff because um the enslavers, when they came over, they brought this Christianity and stuff to Africa, and
Mm-hmm.
kind of convinced us, like our offering our salvation and all that stuff, and talking about, well, you got to be, offer all these different obedience and all that stuff with God, and kind of making like, if they can convince us that God want us to follow their rules and all that stuff, then that's kind of using that as a control of our mind. Especially when we talk about like white supremacist system and all that stuff. So I think that's probably the reason why they try to fight so hard to make voodoo and hoodoo look so bad and demonize that, because they don't want us to connect in that spirituality in so many different ways where it can um give us the power and the strength to fight against the odds in what we are going through in America now. And that's why I feel like a lot of the Black culture is shying away from it, but people are starting to gain knowledge of it and trying to come back around and understand what voodoo and hoodoo actually really is and what our ancestors really mean. And like you said, all these different levels um
Mm-hmm.
of voodoo and hoodoo.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing is I feel like that I am when we talk about like spirits and ancestors and stuff, if people can like connect themselves in so many different ways, you'll be surprised how many messages, like what type of message that you would get, even if it's like through the wind of nature or through dreams, or some people are seers. You can hear, see, especially if you are heavily connected to your ancestors or the other side of the world. You'll be surprised what type of answers that you would get. You'll be surprised at what type of awareness that you would get, or the things that you need to do in order to survive, or whatever that you might be going through. I know that I have an example of I'm a big dreamer, and there was someone that was going through something, like going through a lot of like confidence, or not being able to know how to speak in public, just like not really having self-love in themselves. And they came to me and was like, what are some things that I can do to like uplift myself and ground myself? I'm just always down in these negative moods and stuff. I seem to can't get it right. And at that moment, I didn't have the answer, but I prayed, and I reached out to the ancestors, went to my altars, asked like, hey, you give me some answers. And I actually had a dream after I did, a couple of things, write a note and did a couple of things of questions I needed. And I had a dream that it took me back into the early 1800s. I don't know what year this was, but this had to been when the slave houses at the time just looked like regular houses that people could stay in at the time. And it was like all of them on one row. And I was in this all white dress with a head wrap on my head. And I came to this old house, and it sits up off the ground. And something told me to crawl underneath the house. So I crawled underneath the house, and it was like nothing but dirt and broken up bricks. But the height of the house grew taller. And when I looked in front of me, there was an old man sitting in a chair with a cane. But he didn't say nothing to me. He was just like on my left side, just looking at me. And I'm asking, I'm like, what do you want me to do? What am I supposed to do here? He didn't say nothing. He just sat in this chair with the cane and watched me underneath this house on this ground that grew tall enough for us to sit under. So I dug in the dirt, and a piece of like a tan old school paper popped up. And I know this is going to sound weird, but when the paper popped up, I licked the paper. Like I literally licked the paper in the symbol sign. I'm not for sure what it was. And all the ingredients appeared on the paper, exactly what I needed to mix, as far as so many drops of this, that, and herbs, and let it sit in a jar outside underneath. I cannot remember the moon, underneath a moon for so long. And then that would be the oil that I would need to mix to help people that's in this situation. But once I looked at him, I said, is this it? And he just smiled. Like once I got the grease, he smiled. And I was full of dirt and mud, and I took that paper and came from underneath the house, and I woke up out the dream, and I made sure I remembered it to write it down. And that happened to be an oil that I happened to make that actually people will use, and it actually really work in so many different ways of like stress or relief, or sometimes it makes them feel calming, or whatever the situation might be. So that is just a perfect example of like when you're talking about voodoo or hoodoo, or working with your ancestors and stuff, and how they could come to you to help you, to be able to help guide you and also guide other people in life.
Hey.
I know that for me, what really drew me probably the most to voodoo, particularly as I got into my late teens and my early 20s, was a sense of being able to do something, to take some action. I just, waiting on the great by and by, it'll come to you on the other side. you'll get your award in heaven. It just never sat well with me. Even as a child, it just didn't quite connect for me. And I'm sure growing up with, trauma and the abuse that I grew up under added to, a desire for some sense of having some action, something that could always be done in any scenario to move energy forward, to create and recreate a reality that best mirror my interests. So I began really learning how to work with voodoo and the spirits at a very young age, and make that direct connection to freedom, liberation, and even in a sense of justice, retributive justice in many cases, as opposed to, again, waiting on karma to kick in, waiting on the hereafter to receive our award, while others around us, appear to be living their best lives. uh, we have been sort of conditioned to suffer through, to deal with the pain, the trauma, to receive some great, reward in the hereafter, by a God and a Savior that doesn't look like us, that mirror, our best interests. Brother Tyson, are you with me?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, we here.
I'm here, and
hmm So you all are struggling to connect voodoo and liberation and freedom in the present modern scenario?
Well, no, I know I am not. I was giving everyone a chance to speak their truth. Um, yeah, but it's a powerful tool that we have if we use it, because the world right now is at a dangerous and a trickery place right now. Even Benin, as we spoke of Benin, there was a coup d'état, as Divine Prince showed last week, one of the reels. So even there, the heart of voodoo still has to be in a position of fighting, of resistance. In New Orleans last week, city council, there was people fighting against ICE and pushback. So we all know what's going on with Haiti itself right now, and voodoo has to show up and be there to protect those that honor it. And as the revolution continues, we do have these tools to use to help us walk this walk.
Absolutely. And as we, see sort of this new Pan-African uh, movement and push behind Burkina Faso, and his
Mhm.
breaking away from, European control and governments, we're also sort of simultaneously seeing a resurgence in Aboriginal and Indigenous spiritual practice, and to not duplicate, sort of the revolutionary acts of Haiti, um, in the modern times would just be a loss for us. Um,
yeah,
Go ahead.
brother Todd, can I jump in? Just in what you're talking about as far as liberation and coming from, the principles of voodoo. I think that one thing that I'm seeing and learning is that, because, just even the name origin and how it, in Africa, is Vodou, and then like in Haiti and the Caribbeans is Vodou, and then in New Orleans you have voodoo. I think that even when it comes to the different aspects of voodoo, um, there's, one thing that was very interesting at the last International Voodoo Day was when the one president, please help me with his name, as I his name escapes me right now, but when he was giving his lecture, he was the president. He came from Benin, and he made this statement about, like, it's all voodoo. It's everything's voodoo, because
Mhm.
everything's spirit, right? And
Mhm.
so what happens is, when it comes to liberation, liberation for anything starts with the liberation of the mind. You have to you have to want that freedom of your in your mind, and then there's a collective unity for everybody to move forward to gain something like the liberation that happened in Haiti, or and it's like, but I think sometimes the divisions, even within the religion itself, where you might do it your way, you might do it your way, and I disagree with that way, and I disagree with that way, and so we still are like kind of scattered to some degree. And if we just say, hey, even though you practice this way and you practice that way, and I do it this way and I do that way, if there was still like a unified respect for everyone's path, everyone's approach. If they're disrespecting things, that's different. I'm not talking about that, but I'm talking about the people who are genuinely, engulfed in whatever practice or whatever method, hoodoo, voodoo, or any of those spiritual practices. It's like, if we look at each other and say, I respect you, and let's move forward together, I think then there's more of a liberation, because right now, even for the younger generations, or passing on this religion and this mindset, this ideology, it's hard for people to get past what they've been indoctrinated with in the first place. And so we're like looking for this validation. We're like, well, and I'll give an example, and I'll pass the mic on this one. But even for myself, there was like my kids have been sick recently, and I was looking for some, like, an old recipe to kind of help them with this sickness, like just kind of something to look into, right? And so I'm looking up like a home remedy type thing. And you usually on some sites where like different spiritual practitioners, they'll stand behind the method, right? I'm not going to go into the method and all that, but it's like they'll stand behind the method. If you do this, then you'll knock that cold right out, or you'll knock the mucus right out, this and that. But then when I dug a little deeper, I'm seeing news reports and newscasts, like basically saying, I know it's been said that if you do this, it'll cure this or help that, but we've talked to these doctors and they all disagree. And so I'm like, and I'm saying to myself, like, just in that moment, like, I let the news tell me, like, just discredit something that's been passed on, and you can, you hear about it, passed on through like, old home remedies. But just in that moment, I'm saying, and I know that the I'm not saying all, I used to work for a news organization, but so I'm not saying that, fake news and all that kind of stuff, but I'm saying that just in that moment, I was like, this is an agenda, because pharmaceutical companies definitely don't want you doing home remedies to take away all the pharmacy. But I'm not saying that pharmaceutical products aren't beneficial. A lot, we all have different medicines that we take, so it's not that they're all bad. But just in that one moment, like, I'm like discrediting my people's historical idea of what works over somebody else's opinion. And I think that that's something that, if I struggle with it, maybe other people struggle with it. It's like the validation and the dissension that sometimes comes along with different practices. So that's just my little 2 cents on that. It's just like, I'm just trying to see the unity in the liberation, the unity in everybody respecting each other's way to do different things. It's like, when last time I was on, we talked about the Greek bags, and it's like, one person may use it, one person may not use it. The person that's not using it is no less, protected than the person who's using it, because they may be doing something different. And that's just the respect in that. So I hope my point is understood.
Absolutely. And Sister Toni, before you come on in, thank you for joining us. I just want to respond to that quickly, maybe just with a set of questions. What would the ancestors do? To what degree of unity beyond what came on and the successful revolution itself? Imagine the environment that they had to create and build a sense of unity under. We're talking about varying groups of people who didn't quite even speak the same language, or were still formulating what we now know as Haitian Creole, you know, in the melting pot of languages in Creole that allowed them to speak across ethnic groups. In choir rehearsal tonight, we were going over some songs, particularly Petro songs and some of your general Prié Guinée or Prié de l'eau songs at the beginning of the ritual. And many of them had Nago or Yoruba ancient language in it, ancient Fangbi or Fan language in it. And so the 21 divisions in Dominican Republic, the varying paths in Haitian Voodoo sort of speak to the diversity of beliefs and systems and practices. We know a great degree of the enslaved populace carried Islam with them. So I don't think we necessarily have to all, you know, speak the same language even, but have the same common goal, same common interest. And it's something about unified pain that creates unity. I saw it during the Rodney King riots, you know, where the entire Black community and colors of community came together almost in an hour and brought the crime in our neighborhoods down to zero during the time that uprising was taking place. We see it in Hurricane Katrina, and in a way that many of us were sort of put in a position to have to, you know, rejoin with our neighbors across digital means and through the internet and rebuild, you know, in new cities and in new locations. So I just, you know, what is it about the human condition that we need to suffer in order to, you know, see a vision of unity and pull together? Or is that just me?
And, you know, to speak on that, Divine Prince, when it's like an extreme tragedy, like a, you know, a hurricane or a tornado or something, you know, COVID-19 or something where you're fighting against, you know, everyone's attention is up against something that's far greater than everyone in that moment, then I think humans do, you know, for the most part, the good in them, they'll stick together. The neighbors that haven't talked will come and talk to each other. Neighbors that you'll see the good and the bad in everyone to the most extreme degree. But I think that when it comes to just spirituality and all that kind of stuff, it's like everybody would collectively have to be at a bad place. Because you know how sometimes, even like back in the days where, you know, when things are going good, there's no need to pray. When things are going good, there's no need to get on your knees. There's no need to leave an offering because I'm good. I got money in my pocket. Things are fine. But as soon as something goes bad or something goes wrong, then it's like, whoa. I need to get back to the, you know, I need to get back to this. So I think it's the fact that, you know, there's always like this, like if things are good, but it's like the essence. That's why I love the practice of voodoo, because it's daily. And the ritual aspect of it, of what you're doing, whether you're pouring libations or you're leaving offerings or you're saying certain prayers, the dailiness of it, then it kind of protects you daily when things are good and bad. So there's still some type of even keel spiritually, no matter what's going on. But when you stop doing that, when you stop pouring libations, you stop praying, you stop, you know, getting up and saying, you know, thank you, before you get on the internet and all that other kind of stuff, then it's like you're just gonna be tossed around like the wind. And so that's that's the way I look at things sometimes too.
Hey everybody. I was having technical difficulties, so I'm kind of late on the subject, but like Divine Prince said, like even in a hurricane and stuff, we seem to come together. Divine Prince, especially, I know, saw this when Hurricane Katrina came. Neighbors that never spoke to him, that he didn't even know that they knew he lived on the block because he had what they needed necessarily. He had the radio. He had this, that, and the other thing. They came to him. You know, they found a way to get to his house. They could hear that radio playing. They knew he had information that they needed. And that brought them together. You know, they saw him doing things. They heard him doing things. And I think that's the way it's out of need. You know, like Brother Horn said, when we not in need, when we stop praying, when we not in need, we stop doing, you know, certain things. We stop trying to find out who our neighbors is. We don't need anything at the time. So it's not as important when it really should be, like in good times and bad. But unfortunately, we have gotten away from that as a people, or don't be put in those positions enough. Like here in New Orleans, even with COVID, which people didn't really communicate with each other and stuff. But Katrina in New Orleans was a great example of that, how we came together out of necessity. But then when we didn't need to be together no more, we back to where we are, kind of divided and off to ourselves. But it's time to come to the end of the show. I want to turn it over to the Divine Prince to acknowledge all our viewers on our other platforms. Once again, I apologize. I don't know what's going on with the internet in my neighborhood. It keeps going in and out. But Divine Prince, you can take it over. And then Elder Reggie will close us out with the advertisements.
Thank you kindly. All is a blessing. Certainly, we're grateful for those of you who listen and participate in the chat from the various outlets in Facebook where we can be accessed. Certainly, the YouTube audience and chat. We can be accessed by way of LinkedIn and Tumblr, my bloggers, several other social media platforms. We're certainly thankful for your participation and support. We're certainly thankful for our Instagram listeners and participants. I am Tamisha Monet. We certainly appreciate you. Jerome, we certainly appreciate you for coming through. I am, okay, I just said your name. Lilith in Venus, thank you for coming through. We certainly appreciate you. International, Nari, thank you for coming through. Eve Thornton, we appreciate you. Bella, Isa 7, thank you for coming through. Ashley Jordan, Maximilian for Life, and one other who joined. We appreciate you. Spirit Doula, thank you so much for coming through, or the Spirited Doula 29. Big Loaded FR, thank you for coming through. Marsh Melanin, thank you for stopping by. Official Marcus J. King, we appreciate you. Martin Cannibal joined. We certainly appreciate you. Dirty Red Pumps, thank you for coming through. Ravens Bones, thank you for stopping by. And Stacy Ben Bows, we certainly appreciate each and every one of you for coming through. All is a blessing, and we look forward to joining you here again tomorrow night and every weeknight at 9 p.m. U.S. Central Standard Time by way of the link in a social media platform near you. All is a blessing.
Thank you, Divine Prince. Advertisement, we know this Friday, December the 19th, we have the New Moon Ritual. Saturday, December the 20th at 6:30 p.m. We have the Petro Flaming Bath Ritual. And Wednesday, the 24th of December, the bonfire on the levee. With that, I say, lest we forget, the spiritual medicine of voodoo brings healing and relief from the shackles of slavery that binds the master and the slave to the same chain of social division. We continue to have work to do. We continue to do ritual. And the moon ritual itself is a revolutionary ritual and perspective that we come together as a collective to work toward healing the nation. And that location of the moon ritual is 710 Clewitt Street. It's called the Clewitt Gardens. And we do it in a ritual of spiritual warfare. If you could come out this Friday night, please be there. Thank you. With that, I say ashe, ashe, ashe. Good night, everyone. We see you tomorrow night, and we love you.
Good night.
Thank y'all. Thank you.
Thank you, Odabo.
Good night, everyone.
All is a blessing.
Haiti and Benin are intricately connected. Historically, socially, culturally, these two nations are bound together in a unique way. So much of the Haitian culture we see today is directly linked to Benin. Creole Haitien, Haitian Creole, grammatically borrows from the Fon language, which originated in Benin. Also, our culinary styles and flavors mirror what you'll find in Benin. The heavy use of song and dance, oral traditions, and community ceremonies, the strong kinship networks can be found in both nations. And perhaps most notably, Voodoo, the spiritual system that was born in Benin, is now practiced throughout Haiti in a creolized form called Haitian Voodoo. In order to understand the deep connections between these two nations, it's important to note that in 1975, relatively recently, the Republic of Benin had a name change. Originally, it was the Republic of Dahomey, and that's because even before it was a republic, before it was a colony of France, this was a kingdom, the Kingdom of Dahomey, one of the richest, most powerful kingdoms in the 19th century. And us Haitians, we know Dahomey. We refer to ourselves as Neg Dahomey because our roots can be found in this kingdom. At one point, the Kingdom of Dahomey was the epicenter of the transatlantic slave trade. They had one of the most active slave trading posts in all of Africa. They were providing a significant amount of enslaved Africans to Europeans, not only because they were capturing their enemies and selling them to Europeans, but also because a lot of Dahomians were captured themselves and then shipped to the New World. Now here's where the cultural transference happened. Haiti was a French colony called Saint-Domingue, and Saint-Domingue was a huge importer of enslaved Africans. In order to fuel this lucrative plantation system, Saint-Domingue purchased many enslaved Africans. In fact, at one point, Saint-Domingue accounted for 1/3 of the transatlantic slave trade. Those who survived the Middle Passage brought along with them a piece of their homeland, their culture, cuisine, their religion, their politics, and not all of them came from the Kingdom of Dahomey, but there was a significant representation from this region. Dahomians went on to play a significant role in Haitian history. Toussaint Louverture, the great leader of the Haitian Revolution, is Dahomian. His family is from modern-day Benin. His father is believed to have been a prince in the region. Jean-Jacques Dessalines, the man who secured and declared Haiti's independence, he was raised by and trained by a Dahomian warrior, Aunt Toya. Before she was abducted from Africa, Aunt Toya was a Dahomian soldier who protected the king of Dahomey. She was an Agoji warrior, and if you remember, these fierce women were famously depicted in the movie The Woman King. Even after our independence, King Henri Christophe brought African warriors from the kingdom of Dahomey to the kingdom of Haiti in order for them to help him effectively rule the land. These Dahomians became royals, and they became the primary agents of authority for King Henri Christophe. Truly, the connections between Haiti and Benin are extensive. They're profoundly deep. We are interconnected by shared experiences and by blood. Haiti and Benin are intricately connected. Historically, socially, culturally, these two nations are bound together in a unique way. So much of the Haitian culture we see today is directly linked to Benin. Creole Haitien, Haitian Creole, grammatically borrows from the Fon language, which originated in Benin. Also, our culinary styles and flavors mirror what you'll find in Benin. The heavy use of song and dance, oral traditions, and community ceremonies, the strong kinship networks can be be found in both nations. And perhaps most notably, Voodoo, the spiritual system that was born in Benin, is now practiced throughout Haiti in a creolized form called Haitian Voodoo. In order to understand the deep connections between these two nations, it's important to note that in 1975, relatively recently, the Republic of Benin had a name change. Originally, it was the Republic of Dahomey, and that's because even before it was a republic, before it was a colony of France, this was a kingdom, the Kingdom of Dahomey, one of the richest, most powerful kingdoms in the 19th century. And us Haitians, we know Dahomey. We refer to ourselves as Neg Dahomey because our roots can be found in this kingdom. At one point, the Kingdom of Dahomey was the epicenter of the transatlantic slave trade. They had one of the most active slave trading posts in all of Africa. They were providing a significant amount of enslaved Africans to Europeans, not only because they were capturing their enemies and selling them to Europeans, but also because a lot of Dahomeans were captured themselves and then shipped to the New World. Now here's where the cultural transference happened. Haiti was a French colony called Saint-Domingue, and Saint-Domingue was a huge importer of enslaved Africans. In order to fuel this lucrative plantation system, Saint-Domingue purchased many enslaved Africans. In fact, at one point, Saint-Domingue accounted for 1/3 of the transatlantic slave trade. Those who survived the Middle Passage brought along with them a piece of their homeland, their culture, cuisine, their religion, their politics, and not all of them came from the Kingdom of Dahomey, but there was a significant representation from this region. Dahomeans went on to play a significant role in Haitian history. Toussaint Louverture, the great leader of the Haitian Revolution, is Dahomean. His family is from modern-day Benin. His father is believed to have been a prince in the region. Jean-Jacques Dessalines, the man who secured and declared Haiti's independence, he was raised by and trained by a Dahomean warrior, Aunt Toya. Before she was abducted from Africa, Aunt Toya was a Dahomean soldier who protected the king of Dahomey. She was an Agoji warrior, and if you remember, these fierce women were famously depicted in the movie The Woman King. Even after our independence, King Henri Christophe brought African warriors from the kingdom of Dahomey to the kingdom of Haiti in order for them to help him effectively rule the land. These Dahomeans became royals, and they became the primary agents of authority for King Henri Christophe. Truly, the connections between Haiti and Benin are extensive. They're profoundly deep. We are interconnected by shared experiences and by blood. Haiti and Benin are intricately connected. Historically, socially, culturally, these two nations are bound together in a unique way. So much of the Haitian culture we see today is directly linked to Benin. Creole Haitien, Haitian Creole, grammatically borrows from the Fon language, which originated in Benin. Also, our culinary styles and flavors mirror what you'll find in Benin. The heavy use of song and dance, oral traditions, and community ceremonies, the strong kinship networks can be found in both nations. And perhaps most notably, Voodoo, the spiritual system that was born in Benin, is now practiced throughout Haiti in a creolized form called Haitian Voodoo. In order to understand the deep connections between these two nations, it's important to note that in 1975, relatively recently, the Republic of Benin had a name change. Originally, it was the Republic of Dahomey, and that's because even before it was a republic, before it was a colony of France, this was a kingdom, the Kingdom of Dahomey, one of the richest, most powerful kingdoms in the 19th century. And us Haitians, we know Dahomey. We refer to ourselves as Neg Dahomey because our roots can be found in this kingdom. At one point, the Kingdom of Dahomey was the epicenter of the transatlantic slave trade. They had one of the most active slave trading posts in all of Africa. They were providing a significant amount of enslaved Africans to Europeans, not only because they were capturing their enemies and selling them to Europeans, but also because a lot of Dahomeans were captured themselves and then shipped to the New World. world. Now here's where the cultural transference happened. Haiti was a French colony called Saint-Domingue, and Saint-Domingue was a huge importer of enslaved Africans. In order to fuel this lucrative plantation system, Saint-Domingue purchased many enslaved Africans. In fact, at one point, Saint-Domingue accounted for 1/3 of the transatlantic slave trade. Those who survived the Middle Passage brought along with them a piece of their homeland, their culture, cuisine, their religion, their politics, and not all of them came from the Kingdom of Dahomey, but there was a significant representation from this region. Dahomians went on to play a significant role in Haitian history. Toussaint Louverture, the great leader of the Haitian Revolution, is Dahomian. His family is from modern-day Benin. His father is believed to have been a prince in the region. Jean-Jacques Dessalines, the man who secured and declared Haiti's independence, he was raised by and trained by a Dahomian warrior, Aunt Toya. Before she was abducted from Africa, Aunt Toya was a Dahomian soldier who protected the king of Dahomey. She was an Agoji warrior, and if you remember, these fierce women were famously depicted in the movie The Woman King. Even after our independence, King Henri Christophe brought African warriors from the kingdom of Dahomey to the kingdom of Haiti in order for them to help him effectively rule the land. These Dahomians became royals, and they became the primary agents of authority for King Henri Christophe. Truly, the connections between Haiti and Benin are extensive. They're profoundly deep. We are interconnected by shared experiences and by blood. Haiti and Benin are intricately connected. Historically, socially, culturally, these two nations are bound together in a unique way. So much of the Haitian culture we see today is directly linked to Benin. Creole Haitien, Haitian Creole, grammatically borrows from the Fon language, which originated in Benin. Also, our culinary styles and flavors mirror what you'll find in Benin. The heavy use of song and dance, oral traditions and community ceremonies, the strong kinship network.
My grandmama told me I'm indigenous, period. Said don't ask questions, baby, just feel it in your spirit. She had no tribe, no clan, no proof, but swore up and down she had indigenous roots. She lit a candle and showed me a dream. Said, don't worry about science, baby, that ain't what it means. I asked her for records, she gave me a shrug, then pulled out a bonnet and a fake tribal mug. Indigenous, period. Didn't give no source, just vibe. I was serious. No leg, no tongue, no name I could find. Just copper color story and a made up bloodline.